welcome to another edition of Sticks and Stones. I'm your host, Brent Elrod, coming to you from the cozy confines here on the patio at the No Shoes Bar and Grill in a wonderful, wonderful Republic of Texas. Summer has finally broken. Winter is here. We're 90 degrees today, so I have a jacket on. Not really, but you know. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. I have a wonderful pairing on tap for us today. I am pairing a Macanudo Inspirado red label with something that maybe most of you haven't heard of, because I'd never heard of it until I stumbled upon it at Total Wine. And that is Bahnbrecker Slow River Blend Texas whiskey. Like I said, probably never heard of it, but we're going to give it a shot and see how it goes. So, now, the Macanudo Inspirado red label, this is really a kind of a value-based stick. You can pick up a 5-pack through Cigars International for less than 40 bucks. So, you know, that's not doing too bad at all. And you can sometimes catch it on their specials where you get, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 packs, and every time you add a 5-pack, the price for each one goes down. So you can also do that too. Anyway, this particular stick features a high priming Ligero Ecuadorian Habano wrapper. Now, the filler is, there's a lot of this, so I'm going to have to read it. Yamastran Valley, Honduras, which is aged 10 years. Omentepe from Nicaragua, aged 12 years. And Esteli, Nicaragua, aged 5 years. So there's a lot of aging going on in this stick. And as I said, it has the high priming Ligero Ecuadorian Habano wrapper. And the country of origin is Nicaragua. It is rolled at STG Esteli. Now, visually, the Ecuadorian Habano wrapper is a beautiful, beautiful chocolate brown for those of you tuning in on the live feed on Instagram. The rest of you will just have to take my word for it. It has a kind of a slight Colorado red tint to it. It's smooth. It's got just a very slight oil sheen to it. There's really minimal veining. The veinings that there are almost indistinguishable. And I can really only pick up the wrapper intermittently, and what I can see is very tight and rolled very well, and it has a very large triple cap. So now on the nose. There's a lot going on here. I get chocolate and kind of a maltiness, a hint of black pepper or spice, a touch of cloves, some cedar, maybe a little cocoa, but that could just be the chocolate, some raisins, and maybe not just raisins, but some other kinds of dried fruit, and just a touch of caramel. Let's give it a cut using the C-Car V-Cutter. That is my favorite cut. You can use whatever cut fits your bill. Pretty much all cigar smokers have a favorite. I think probably the most prevalent is the guillotine. The punches are very popular because they can put those in the base of a lighter. So you got a lighter and a cutter in one, but the punches really only work on cigars that have a rounded cap. Doesn't work really well for like torpedoes. So, all right, now cold draw. Now the cold draw is not as nearly as complex as the nose, but it's got some really nice flavor profiles on the palate. I pick up cedar and leather and some really nice chocolate notes. And I'm sorry if you can hear all that barking in the background. Hey, I do what I can, but this is supposed to be a professional show. I have already paired the Inspirado Orange and the Inspirado Light, and I loved them. So I'm expecting good things from this. But now, on to the Bahnbrecker. Bahnbrecker Slow River Blend. Bahnbrecker was founded in 2021 by country music star Randy Rogers, along with some friends of his, Eric Chase, Carrie Schindler, and that's C-A-R-Y, so I'm assuming that's a fella. But we can't make any determinations, So, Ash Weiniger, Michael Devers, and then industry veteran Steve Lutman. And they founded it in New Braunfels, Texas, and that's kind of why you come up with this name, Bahnbrecker. Bahnbrecker is German, and it means trailblazer. And there is a large population down around the New Braunfels, Green, spelled Greune, area that they are historically from Czechoslovakia, Germany area, immigrating here back in the 1800s. But the culture is still very, very much alive there. And so that's kind of where the name come from. Meine Deutsche nicht sehr gut, aber verständlich. So that's probably one of the few things I can say that doesn't have anything to do with beer. So anyway, this is, and I will show the folks on video, this is called a Hefeweizen whiskey. Now, in studying for this, some people say it is Hefeweizen inspired, and some people say it has Hefeweizen in it. So there's probably those of you going, what the hell's Hefeweizen? Hefeweizen is a German beer that's light and yeasty and typically kind of hazy. Now, in looking at the whiskey, it's pretty clear. So, I mean, for, bourbon, it's not hazy or anything like that. It doesn't look like it has beer in it. But it is a wheat beer, a wheat whiskey. And that often includes kind of like banana on the profile. And it is a blend of Texan and Midwestern straight wheat whiskeys with hints of lemon and clove in it. So the mash bill is hard to run down. I tried. I had some places saying it's 100% wheat. I don't buy that. I think it's probably predominantly wheat, somewhere around 55 to 57%. But then I think it's probably got corn and malt in it as well. But I found it somewhere online, and then I could never find it again. So I think spies were looking at me, and they ran off with the mash bill. But we'll see when we go to tasting. Now, it is aged 3 to 5 years. It is 40% ABV. There's no APB out on it. So that's 80 proof. Now, let's glass some up here. I love the cork pop. That's one thing they got going for them. It's 80 proof, so I went ahead and was very, very heavy on the pour. Can't do that with those 120 proofs. Oh, wow. Oh, my God. We're going to get to the nose in a minute. Let me do the visual here first. Now, visually, it is a very, very light golden. I wouldn't even really say it's got any hints of red in it or copper, but it's possible. It has a very slight hint in it. It could just be the way the light is hitting it. Now, I will say it's got great legs, and it leaves nice little globules of whiskey clinging up at the top when you swirl it. It's really got some good legs. They may be onto something here. Now on the nose, I took a sniff, and yeah, I got excited. This is amazing. I mean, amazing. Now, I don't say that about, I mean, I love whiskey. I love Scotch, bourbon, all of it. And I think there's a lot of it that's like really, really good. I don't know that I've ever said amazing about any whiskey yet, but this was it. Now, what am I smelling? I am smelling tropical fruit, bananas, a sweetness, and a little bit of vanilla kind of in the background. It's not very heavy. It's really light, but you can tell it's there. It's just kind of a smoothing agent, I guess you'd say, in your olfactory senses. All right, I got to try this out. Now, let me try it again. Okay. There's a little bit going on here. Some of it I really, really like. Some of it I'm, you know. Initially, when you take a drink, there is an initial bite of spice and a little bit of an alcohol burn. And the burn, the spice stays on the back of your tongue. It's still there, and I took the drink 10 seconds ago. But as the alcohol and the spice kind of fade away, you all of a sudden get this upwelling of, literally, as the only way I can explain it is bananas in your mouth. And it is, to not be extremely complex, you're kind of left stunned and speechless because it's not what you expected. I also get some caramel, and I think I said you get a little bit of vanilla in there. And there's also seems to be just a little bit of citrus, kind of a lemony, kind of in the undertone. I don't really pick up, I know they say cloves, I don't really get it, but as we go along, I may find it. So we'll see. But it does have a pretty smooth finish. Once that alcohol burn and the spice kind of go away, you're still left with this kind of lasting flavor of banana. So I'm very intrigued. All right, let's go ahead and fire this stick up, because I've been talking a while. I know y'all want to get down to business. Try to keep these under 20 minutes, you know. I don't want you sitting there all day. As you could probably tell on Instagram, there was a tremendous amount of smoke that came off of this stick when I lit it. There's an initial burst of like red and black pepper when you first take a puff. And then after that kind of subsides, you get some really great notes of chocolate, kind of a little bit of a fruity sweetness, but the chocolate notes definitely take the lead. And then you've got, like I said, the fruit, you've got pepper, and you've kind of got some cedar, just kind of all moving around together subtly in the background. That's another really, I mean, this is a really good stick. So far, I've loved the Inspirado line, the selection. I don't know, I have to look and see if I've tried them all now with this one, but really good. Let's try these together. Now, you probably notice, you watch this on Instagram, I'll I'll inhale, or not inhale, but I'll take a puff of cigar and I kind of blow it into the glass and then I take a drink. That kind of narrows the time between the time the smoke is in my mouth and the spirit goes in my mouth. That way I can really kind of get them together. And I will say that that spicy kind of alcohol burn with the stick, that kind of mellowed out. It wasn't nearly as much. So they really are kind of working off of one another and going really well together so far in the beginning. And like I said, this banana, the banana flavor that is in this is, to me, I like it. I really like it. I can't believe that they were able to get that into whiskey without it being like banana rum. I mean, it's not banana whiskey, it's just whiskey. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and burn this down to the halfway mark. And for those of you listening to the podcast, I will come back and give you an update about the halfway mark. Those of you on Instagram, you'll have to listen into the podcast when it drops in a couple of days. I appreciate you watching, and keep your sticks dry and your stones cold. Howdy folks, I am back here at the half. In the stick, the cedar has kind of ramped up and been joined by some earthy notes, and that has gradually increased in intensity till we got to here at the halfway mark. The chocolate seems to be kind of pulling back and joining the fruit and the pepper notes kind of in the background, but they're remaining there enough to let you know they're there. The palates are blending wonderfully with these two offerings. The Slow River's notes of banana and some caramel and vanilla and a little touch of citrus are really blending very well with the stick. And like I said earlier, the stick, it seems to be kind of tamping down that burst of spice and pepper that you got at the beginning of the drink. So it's really allowing them to kind of meld and marry together very well. I am extremely impressed with this Bahnbrecker. I just can't stop talking about it. But I'm going to go ahead and burn the stick down to the band, and I will come back and give you my final thoughts. Hey Stoners, I am back. In the last half, I talked about how the cedar and kind of that earthy palate note kind of came in there and was continuing to ramp up at the half. Well, it continued to ramp up, and the cedar and the earth displaced the chocolate as the dominant note, and the chocolate just pulled into the background with the pepper and the fruit in really more kind of a supporting role, but it still did very well in blending with the Bahnbrecker and its dominant banana note, which stayed consistent throughout. The stick did marry very well with the Slow River, and I'm telling you, outside of smoking a cigar and drinking, it's really worth the experience to just drink the Slow River by itself, so that you can kind of take in what it's got going on. I've never had a whiskey that I can recall do this. Now the Macanudo had some really great flavors on the profile. It wasn't necessarily overly complex, but that and wasn't nearly as complex as it was on the nose, but that allowed it to blend very well with the Bahnbrecker and not overtake it. I did find that the Macanudo was a bit of an enigma with the complexity of the nose and the complexity of the palate, because they were different. But it's a very solid stick, and I really enjoyed it. And I think the Bahnbrecker Slow River is an exceptional budget whiskey. You should definitely try and track some down. I am leaving a link to it at Total Wine in the description. You can click on it and go check it out. But depending on where you are, you may not be able to get it yet. And if you can't, well, just hold on. I am sure it is going to explode, and you will pretty much be able to get it wherever you are. I would give the Macanudo, I'd give it like a 91 Matchsticks. It's a really, really good cigar. I really enjoyed it. I'll be smoking them again. Like I said, it's a bit of an enigma with the complexity on the nose compared to the complexity on the palate, but it's a really good cigar. Macanudo, they're one of the best at doing it, you know. The Bahnbrecker, and I'd have to give them like a 95. I think that's the highest rating I've given a whiskey in a while. But it is just amazing at what that flavor profile is. I was just stunned when I'm like, yeah, that's actually what I taste. I'm sold. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode as much. Oh, did I say? Yeah, 95. Sorry. I hope you've enjoyed this episode as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. Please hit like, subscribe, share, notify, ring all the bells, hit all the whistles, do all the buttons, all that kind of stuff. And definitely hit that share button. Share it with all your friends. They'll definitely want to listen to this one. Go see our new website, Sticks-n-Stonez.com, Sticks-n-Stonez.com. And I don't have Linktree anymore. I have Koji, K-O-J-I. It took the place of my Linktree. It works a little better for me. But if you see that on there, it's kind of like Linktree. That's the link to all the social media. You go to the website, you can read my blog, you can catch up on the episodes. You can also get to the Amazon store and the Sticks-n-Stonez merchandise, all that kind of stuff. And there's stuff on the Amazon store for people that don't have anything to do with cigars and alcohol. Christmas shirts, Halloween shirts, there's different kinds of stuff on there. I try to appeal to a little bit of everybody. So I think this may be the longest episode I've ever done. I just couldn't stop talking about this wonderful, wonderful Texas whiskey. Be sure to click on any of our ad links. That lets our advertising partners know that you're watching and interested. These are affiliate links, and so I'll get a commission on any sales, and I much appreciate that. So we still have merchandise at Redbubble, redbubble.com. You can go over there and check us out. But until we get to be together again, keep your sticks dry, your stones cold, and have a great